Okay, welcome to this edition of the Take This Podcast. I'm your host, MTU, down here in rainy South Florida. On the line, of course, Mike Bernier, Joe Lopez. What's up, fellas?
Mike, but barely.
I had fun once. It was terrible.
Yeah, Mike, how many hours are we up now? 204 hours?
Carry the one, divided by 2. 417 consecutive.
that makes you the Iron Man, just for the record. You're Iron Mike now.
Mike's a busy guy these days. And especially congratulations to Mike, as him and his wife, Carol, had their third child last week, officially. Dakota Sky.
Yes.
We have a baby.
Yes.
Also,
not confused with Dakota Kai.
Also, congratulations to Mike. He is the proud owner of 2 new WWE t-shirts, because I am also the proud owner of those said shirts.
Hell yeah.
We, so for a little background into the minds of Joe Lopez and Mike Bernier, when we go to pro wrestling shows together, which you guys may know we do pretty often, in non-pandemic times. The last one we went to was Elimination Chamber this past February, and we've gone to the last 9 WrestleManias, except for this year, for obvious reasons. But when we like to go, and we usually
Joe, you're saying you weren't there? You weren't just there?
We were not there. We weren't there. We were Savio Vega this year. We were the opposite, the anti-Savio Vega, yes. But anyway, Mike and I like to get matching wrestling shirts to wear to shows when we go together, because I'm gay and I don't know what his excuse is.
So cute.
But I roll with it. Roll with it because I like the idea. So we both found a couple of shirts that we really like, and what we've decided to do is the next pay-per-views that come on, and probably for the rest of the year at the very least, we're going to watch them together as long as we can on like Zoom or Skype or something, and wear our matching t-shirts. So we are both the new proud owners of a Drew McIntyre.
You almost said Drew Gulak.
Yeah, I almost said Drew Gulak. We are both owners now of an Andrade t-shirt that's really awesome, and a Drew McIntyre shirt that literally says on it, "Talk less, clay more," and I think that's fantastic. So, pick up your t-shirts at www.shop.com. But
what's the promo code?
It's no Twitter. That's all one word.
No spaces.
No spaces. Oh, God. All right, let's get to the show today, man. We got a lot to talk about. We missed the show last week for obvious reasons, because a guy Mike had his baby, so not him, but his wife, Anyway,
I was gonna say, Carol had the baby. Wait a second.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Last time I checked, my stomach didn't get cut.
All right, here we go. So, last couple weeks we've had 2 events, 2 nights separated by 2 weeks. AEW, of course, Fyter Fest, rather, and we also had the Great American Bash for NXT. And a lot of big things happened in these 2 events. So, I guess more than anything else, instead of going through each event, well, I guess we can start one first. Which one to go first?
Why don't we start with
Fyter Fest?
Yeah.
Okay. Fyter Fest. AEW's Fyter Fest. I guess really more than anything else, instead of doing an entire recap, because it's really obviously two nights of wrestling action, give me you guys your favorite takeaways, favorite moments of the Fyter Fest nights 1 and 2.
I don't know. For me, I watched through most of both shows. I didn't get to finish the second show, to be honest.
Really?
So I actually haven't seen the match that I'm most looking forward to on Fyter Fest, which is Jericho and Orange Cassidy. If you guys have seen that, I'm sure you could tell me how it was. But
I liked it a lot. It was great.
Yeah, no, I mean, I gotta say, I feel like Orange Cassidy might be the biggest success story of AEW so far, because not only has he gone from being like an indie scene talent to being, frankly, one of the biggest stars in AEW, but they also managed to take his gimmick, which in my mind for a long time was kind of a one-joke gimmick, and they actually have grown on it, like the whole aspect now where it's like, if he puts in any kind of effort, it turns out he's like a fantastic wrestler. Like, that wasn't always there with the character. The character kind of got along with just doing the whole I don't care, laissez-faire, and kind of
Whatever.
like lucking into things as opposed to actually putting out effort. So I mean, the little evolution that they've done with the character works really well for television, and I've appreciated that. And he might really be like the biggest success story to come out of AEW.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
But you didn't see the match. Mike, did you see
Not
the
yet.
match with Jericho?
I did.
What do you think? I gave it an A.
No, I'd give it a solid B+.
Okay.
But for the record, if you're giving it an A, you got to give it an I, like
Aye.
Canadian.
I will say this much though: the best part of the match was actually when the referee Audrey went to pin in the middle of the orange juice. It's great,
Oh.
funny as shit, dude. Just random. Obviously Orange Cassidy, and I mean, and I think this all started in February Revolution against Pac.
Yes.
And I remember I specifically remember doing this podcast with you guys and saying, I mean, really? It's gonna be a match? Really? He's gonna get destroyed. And that guy pulled off a fuck. And from there, everything has just changed. And honestly, I can see this guy. I mean, you can talk me into this guy being a main event guy in 2 years.
Yes. I think less time than
It's
that,
weird.
actually.
It's funny to say that. You're saying that with guys like Moxley and Jericho and other guys, on that roster. But he is so over right now.
No, I'm gonna tell you something. I think that he's probably like top 2 or 3 most over acts in the company. And it's actually, and it works. Like, he's not over and it gets annoying quick or anything like that. Like I said, like, they've evolved it enough where it's its own thing. Like, look, after Brian Cage challenges for the title, and I don't know if he's going to win it or not, I could actually see that going either way. But after Brian Cage fights for the title, whether he wins it or not, I don't actually know how many challengers that they've built up that they have ready to be fighting for the world title. I actually sort of think that Orange Cassidy might be one of the top names that you could build into that position right now.
For the world title, though?
Yeah, I'm not saying he wins it, but I mean, I don't know what other acts you have that are that over that should
you can sell me on the TNT title, maybe not the world title. I don't know.
But who do you have fighting for the world title after Moxley and Cage?
I mean, maybe Lance Archer, I guess. I don't know.
Lance Archer, who so far has only beaten Jobbers and lost to Cody.
Yeah.
And he looked like crap against Joey Janela. That match should have been a squash, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So
that was a blah match. Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I saw that one. Exactly.
The next challenger for the AEW World Champion will be Maxwell Jacob.
It's time.
Friedman.
It's time.
You really think so?
Yeah, he has to be. I agree. He has to be. He's been
Unfortunately, I think he is.
Yeah, at some point.
I don't see it. I
don't want it to be. Trust me.
I think that I actually personally I think that he should be in the conversation. I think that instead he's been in a mid-card at best feud with the Jurassic Express.
Right.
And they're obviously also from that match I loved. Wait, that was on night 1 of Fyter Fest, right? The tag match. That match I thought was honestly like a show stealer. Like, I thought that was fantastic, that match. That was the best match on night 1 as far as I'm concerned. One of the best anyway, just because it's probably the one that I expected the least from that delivered the most on that particular show.
I enjoyed the
tag thing is, though, this is how you fix that problem. Because you're just saying, okay, after you get past Moxley and Cage this coming week of Fight for the Falling, you pretty much have no other contenders or whatever. This is why I'm going to say here right now, it's time to split up Omega and Page. The tag team division is already fine. They don't need them anymore. They don't need them.
I agree, but I don't think Private Party is going to be. Well, I mean, not Private Party, but I don't know. Like, they'd have to really rush into a title match at this point to make it happen, like, in time for them to be the next challenger after Fyter Fest.
Of course, but I mean,
rather.
I'm just saying that right now, the tag division in the AEW is perfect. It's so they are right now so good that they don't no longer need Page to exist now as a team.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say that the tag division is large. I don't know about perfect, but it's large.
I'm with Joe.
There's a lot of teams, and you're right. Like, they don't need Omega and Page, although not for nothing. And wait, this week, maybe I did watch more of this than I thought I did. night 2 had Private Party against Cowboy
Correct.
Bebop, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
That was
so
the
that
opening
match, I factually did watch that match. Here's what
You
I'm going
did.
to say about that match, okay? That match was a really good tag match that showed why Private Party and Omega and Page are in 2 different leagues. And
Yes.
Omega and Page are way, way ahead of where Private Party is. And I think that's the problem you run into, because, like, yes, you could have the tag division without Omega and Page very easily, but at this point, like, if the tag division is going to be one of the featured things, you need teams that are, like, look, when the tag division was the top thing in companies back in the 80s, it wasn't because they had Demolition at the head of it. It's because they had the Legion of Doom. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you need acts like Private Party and Santana and Ortiz are great, but they're not enough to lead a tag division that's going to be like the top division in a company.
Right. So here's my thing. Like, as long as so like, obviously you can't have every tag team being, absolutely great. Not everybody can be a top dog. My thing is this: if you have at least 4 to 6 good to great tag teams, I think you're set well. Obviously, you have
I think you're stretching to get to 4 good to great tag teams
in the AEW.
Yes.
I think you got 4.
So
I think I can give you 4. I don't give you 6. I can give you 4 though.
That's fine. So 4, I would say, let's eliminate Page and Omega a second, okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Because they really are solo guys, okay?
But they're also the best team in AEW right now, for the record.
They're incredible. But would you agree their real value, honestly, is individual?
No.
You don't think so? Really?
Not right now.
Oh, not right now.
Exactly.
I actually
you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting from Kenny. You know what you're getting from Hangman. If you want this to be a Twitter thing where every fucking wrestling fan goes, oh, they built this company so that they can get themselves over on a national fucking standpoint, that's how Kenny Omega is the AEW champion. That's how Adam Page does this. That's how the Young Bucks are the tag champions. The fact that they're giving everybody else the opportunity to fucking show what they're worth so that they know, okay, now these 13 guys can go in the ring. Now put them with the best bout machine in Kenny Omega. Now put them with the best rising star in wrestling in Adam Hangman Page. That's the only way you're going to figure it out. Right. Their best thing right now is to fucking be the rocket ship to that tag division, because at the end of it, here's what you have. You have a veteran group in SCU that can put over anybody that's developing. You have
one great group. So that's one great group there.
You have probably arguably the best tag team that lost years off of their career because of the shit that happened with Canada in the Dark Order. Okay. You may hate the fucking gimmick, but you can hate the gimmick all you want. Uno and Dos are probably one of the best tag teams in the world.
I'll give you that about 8 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. They lost much of their time because of
it. They lost so much time to the point where I almost feel like they're
But do we consider them great, though, the question? Do we consider them great?
I don't. Not anymore.
I would put them in my top 4 tag teams in AEW right now.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I would, again, like, I loved them as Super Smash Brothers back in Chikara in, like, 2008. But, like you said, like, I mean, look, Stu Grayson should have been, like, a Ricochet-level guy about 5 or 6 years ago, and then, it just didn't happen. I don't know, right, he got stuck in Canada or whatever the case may be. But, like, no, I never... I look at them sometimes on AEW and I think about how good they used to be as the Super Smash Brothers, and it honestly just I it kills it for me.
Best friend?
So that
they got pushed heavily.
Yeah, they've been pushed heavily. I mean, yeah, Chuck and Trent are great in ring, but I don't know that they're necessarily great.
Oh, I think they're great. I'll trade you Dark on my list of 4. I'll trade you Dark Order, and I'll put Best Friends on mine.
Okay. Well, I have the Best Friends on mine, but I'm not.
Okay.
The conversation was great. I don't
know. You don't think they're great?
Great. I think they're good. I think that they're not the team that has to take the titles off of Omega and Page.
See, I think Trent is so underrated. Like, I got really excited. At one point, before he left New Japan, it seemed like they were actually going to, because they had broken up him and Rocky Romero as Roppongi Vice. And it seemed like Trent was going to get his, singles push And then he just ended up in Best Friends. They brought in Chuck Taylor, and they were just like, no, you're a tag team wrestler. And it low-key kind of sucked. And
yeah, I think Trent is the same way that you look at Grayson in the Dark Order. Trent should be the one that's being pushed to the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big Chuck Taylor fan. Tebowing killed Ronan.
But Chuck Taylor's a utility player.
Correct.
Yeah.
He is the third wheel of the Best Friends Orange Cassidy
right
faction.
Trio. Yeah. I agree.
So let's look at the rest of the tag teams in the division. Private Party, we already determined that they're developing, but they're still not where you would expect them to be. Mm-hmm. Me and Joe have said numerous times, Pride and Powerful, their last meaningful match was in Impact Wrestling.
They're being misused, in my opinion. I'll say it again. I feel like they're being misused.
Oh, 100%.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying to you, I think I said this on the podcast 2 months ago. They should be in the top picture a long time ago.
Yeah, okay, I feel they need to get them away from the inner circle first and foremost. But yes, yes.
Yeah,
is it possible to still be productive? I mean, look at maybe it's obviously different companies, but look at the way Undisputed Era is being used. You couldn't have Jericho's a champion and then have look at Hager's compete for championships and
well, you
can have those championships.
No, but think about this too, and this is a whole other conversation. And I'll say this, and then I think we should get back to the tag teams at the very least.
Okay.
The thing with the Inner Circle and versus Undisputed Era was one gimmick, and it was a team, and they all had their own individual thing, obviously, but you could they rolled together, you felt like they were a crew. It felt like the Horsemen and stuff like that. The Inner Circle does not have that going. And I always thought that was kind of cool at first, but now after watching it for, however long it's been, not quite a year, it's gotten old. It's gotten old really fast. Jake Hager's out there doing his own thing. Santana and Ortiz are there kind of doing their own thing. Jericho's out there half the time just doing commentary. And then, Sammy's obviously not around right now. So, I mean, you have these pieces, but it's not a cohesive thing anymore. It's just not.
Right.
You brought Pride and Powerful in to be the tag team of that faction, and the most over tag team of that faction is Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Exactly.
That's the problem. They went away from whatever the strategy was, and they decided to push them to the back burner, and all it's done is made them really irrelevant. And it sucks because they're a really good tag team. I would put them in my top 4 from an in-ring perspective, but the way AEW is building them, I'd put them on the level of the Butcher and the Blade.
I totally agree with you.
Who should also be in the top 4 for the record.
You think so?
Correct.
By the way, where's Bunny? I know it's Allie. It's Allie, right?
They have her doing that stupid storyline with QT Marshall, whatever his name is.
Dustin Rhodes.
But they never explained why she's gone from there, from the Butcher.
No, they did not. You're correct. They did not explain that. It's just a thing that sort of happened.
Why make dollars when you can make sense? I mean, the fuck.
No, but Butcher and the Blade, when they debuted them, and in ring wise, I think they're pretty fucking good. They should be one of those teams that is being pushed to the moon. Instead, they're kind of being used as fodder for the Young Bucks and FTR, to slowly build their feud. Which, by the way, I guess apparently the Young Bucks and Omega and Page storyline is just fucking dead. Never really got finished. It just kind of got pushed to the wayside.
I feel like they're gonna save I feel like they're trying to save these bigger storylines for when they get the crowds back.
So you can't do that.
But the thing is now
that's great, but you don't know when that's gonna happen.
Exactly.
If ever, frankly,
right.
It might always be friends and family. This might be like a Macy's sale for the rest of all time.
Macy's sale.
I will say this: the team that should inevitably take the tag titles off of Omega and Page finally made their in-ring return the last couple weeks. That's Pentagon and Rey Fenix.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
But caveat: the only way they can take the tag titles from them is they have to change that fucking entrance song.
Oh, stop it, man! Stop!
Yes.
That entrance song is trash.
Come on, dude.
Trash.
Don't beat that guy.
Lucha Bros, Mexican. What? No, go fuck yourself. That entrance music is trash.
You're about to hate me in a couple minutes.
I will hang up this fucking phone call.
All right, we should get back to Fyter Fest. I feel like that was the original topic.
Oh, God.
Tangent. My takeaway moment is currently on my stream because I'm rewatching Night 2 of Fyter Fest while we record, and that is the re-debuting of the FTW World Heavyweight Champion given to the fucking machine, Brian Cage.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going, why can Taz do that? WWE owns all of ECW. That was not a recognized title, ladies and gentlemen. That was an intellectual property by Taz. Woo.
By the way, so that's the equivalent. So that's kind of the equivalent of the $1 million belt now, pretty much.
I mean,
more or less, unauthorized title.
You know what? I'm gonna just say it. I'm pretty sure that the FTW title has a more distinct lineage than the $1 million title. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just saying in terms of like just it shows out of nowhere and all of a sudden it has some value to it to the company. I mean,
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying the list of $1 million champions includes Ted DiBiase and Virgil, and at least the list of FTW champions was like Taz and Sabu, and now Brian Cage.
And now Brian Cage.
So yeah, I'm just telling you, the lineage on that belt it's the winner.
I got a feeling Brian Cage is winning on Wednesday. By the way,
I don't.
You don't think so?
I do.
I got a feeling.
Tonight's gonna be a good night.
Is that their Lesnar? Is that gonna be their Lesnar?
Who, Brian Cage? No, because he's actually going to show up and have talent.
He's actually going to be.
No. What I'm saying in terms of just the big guy, fucking athletic, Taz mouthpiece and all that, kind of like the Lesnar fucking.
Hold on. Hold on. Did you really just fucking say Brock Lesnar and athleticism in the same fucking sentence?
No, I'm saying in terms of being that big fucking strong guy. Remember Lesnar came out in 2002 his monster?
You legitimately said athleticism. The last time Brock Lesnar tried anything athletic, his skull ended up on the fucking floor at Safeco on that fucking shooting star press.
19. I know. I'm just saying in terms of just because his look. His look reminds. Okay, go. What?
You need to watch more Brian Cage matches. That's all this comes down
to. Never.
Let me preface the same real quick. I know nothing about Brian Cage until now.
Right.
So
wait till you see him wrestle someone. Wait till you see this man get his shit in, and you will not have the same opinion.
But what I'm saying to you is like when I saw him come, the first thing I saw was like it reminded me of Lesnar's debut fucking in 2002. Like who's this fucking guy? He's fucking huge.
Look, I'm gonna say this. The reason why I think that Cage is gonna win the title on Wednesday, and the reason why I think he should, is because he is someone who has that look that, yes, if you're going through your TV channels and you're even remotely a wrestling fan or have ever had an interest in wrestling or anything, and you come across AEW on Wednesday night and you have no idea what the fuck it is, there's very few things that I think in AEW that if you've never seen AEW before and you are a wrestling fan, but like a casual wrestling fan, and you come across it randomly on TV, there's very few things that I think would actually keep you watching. Chris Jericho is one. Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone are 2 and 3. And I think that Brian Cage is also on that list because just the sheer look of him. Like, how do you turn the channel away from someone who looks like that, honestly? I'm
just saying that this Cage Taz, combo reminds me of Lesnar and Paul Heyman to some degree. That's what I'm saying.
I see it to a degree, but I don't know.
You can see it, but I'm telling you right now, the next time you bring that weak ass shit of Brock Lesnar's athleticism into a Brian Cage discussion, you're done, dude.
I'm just saying. I'm going back to fucking 18 years ago when I had no clue who the fuck Lesnar was. Came on my TV screen, this fucking big guy can move the way he did. Like, what the fuck? That's all.
I don't remember being that, like...
Well, I'm not saying it's like fucking, Ricochet like that, but, a guy like that
okay.
Move the way he did.
Except Brian Cage
can be Ricochet. Is Ricochet.
Yeah.
Right, again, I've never seen Cage.
Let's talk on Wednesday after he does some...
He will beat Moxley. Watch.
Yep.
So they have the match.
Well, also, yeah.
Yeah.
Coronavirus. Also, Ray Phoenix's Canadian Destroyer, I know Joe hasn't gotten to that match yet. That Canadian Destroyer that he hit onto the outside, onto everyone, was fucking retardedly sick.
Yeah, I've seen it on social
was.
media. That was insane.
And last but not least, before I think it's inevitably time to move on from Fyter Fest,
to the GAB.
Open challenges for Cody. Who out there that isn't like on the AEW roster? Like, if you could pick someone to come in tomorrow and challenge Cody, who would it be and why?
That's a free agent.
Yes.
Jeez. And would get the. Okay, I don't know if he's a free agent, but if it was at all possible, Jay Lethal.
Rusev after Corona.
So you both took answers that I could see. I'm gonna go with someone a little. I'm gonna go someone a little different, and Joe knows knows who I'm talking about. He's also in Ring of Honor, and he's someone who was part of like the Being the Elite videos. I want to see him take on Flip Gordon.
Yeah, I can see that.
Gotta check him out. Cool. Flip Gordon.
I like Flip.
Where was he at? Was he Impact? What was he?
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Okay.
I wouldn't pick anybody from Impact right now because they actually seem like they're like not really like letting people do stuff that isn't part of their inner circle. No pun intended.
No pun.
Didn't Vince buy him out though? Just buy them?
No, he bought Evolve.
Oh, Evolve. Thank you. Sorry about that. Okay.
But I mean, he had also been financially supporting Evolve for however long as it was. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure the quote unquote buying Evolve probably just means that eventually we get to see all those shows on like WWE Network. But like,
yeah.
I'm game for that. We get to see some Johnny wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what you're probably not going to see is WWE like running shows under an Evolve
under the Evolve name.
Right.
Like, unless the only way I can see them doing that is like after coronavirus, and like if they use that to just instead of doing like NXT house shows, they do Evolve shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they just keep some of the Evolve guys and then use that for the more developed guys that need more development time. That aren't ready to be on like the NXT house loops.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So now
FTR. Woo.
Yeah. So now we have that's the Fyter Fest and Great American Bash takeaways. I mean, the obvious one is the obvious one. Keith Lee, of course, winning the NXT title. Now is Keith Lee 2 belts.
No. Jesus Christ, no.
Look,
wait. But can I just say I really do appreciate that the couple name of Mia Yim and Keith Lee is Yimitless.
Yes.
She puts out her fucking Instagram all the time.
It's amazing. I never heard that before. Her match with Candice, which by the way, can we just say, and I don't know if there was a women's match on night 2 of Fyter Fest. At Fyter Fest?
There was a Nyla Rose squash match.
Okay. So and we'll talk more about the women obviously soon because that's my topic. But all I'll say is that the women's matches on Great American Bash, the 4-way on night 1 and the street fight on night 2, and I don't remember if there were any others, but at least those two. Oh, and the woman, the Sasha Banks and Io Shirai match also.
That was a good match.
And Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone.
Yeah. All far and away blew out of the water anything women's wrestling wise on Fyter Fest.
Without question.
Correct.
Without question.
Like I'd actually say that was some of the best women's wrestling of this year in at least like 3 of those matches.
So, Joe, spoiler alert real quick while you brought up Io Shirai. Did you know that she's like engaged or in a relationship or married to the new IWGP Intercontinental and World Heavyweight Champion Evil?
I did not know that.
I did not know that until this morning when I was scrolling through Twitter shortly after Evil defeated Tetsuya Naito.
Wow.
I was like, I saw someone goes, they're going to need to build a bigger room to hold all those title belts. I was like, what?
That's amazing.
Penelope Ford and Sheeta was night 1, right?
Yeah, and that wasn't a bad match.
That was a good match.
I mean,
it was good. It was solid.
It was solid, but like that's the thing.
the 5 matches that females were involved in, that was number 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 5
and that's
was
only
that
because there was
Rhea
a
Ripley,
squash
Robert
for the 5th
Stone
one.
garbage match.
That was a squash. That's more like a squash, bro. Come on.
All I'm saying is whenever AEW, let's see, there were 6 women's matches. Number 6 was the Nyla Rose squash. Number 5 was the Rhea Ripley match. Number 4 was their fucking title match. Now that means that it got beat by a street fight between 2 women, a fatal 4-way for a number 1 contender spot, and a non-title match between Io and Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is the fact that there wasn't even a official NXT Women's Championship match, and it blew everything that AEW's women's division did. That's something that needs to be discussed, a la Joe Lopez's topic.
Yes.
Right.
Foreshadowing.
Real quick, because this will probably bridge into the next topic in a second. But real quick, Keith Lee becoming the champ, of course. I'm ecstatic he won the fucking title. But here's the thing. It feels too fast. It feels too quick.
Hold on. See, I said this to Joe, and I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
But, I guess I have to address the elephant in the room, and I'm probably going to get shit for it, and that's fine.
Go ahead.
Do you think this was Vince pressing the play button super quickly because of what's going on in today's society?
I thought the same thing, too. I watched that match today at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I was to myself, well, could it be maybe this, the atmosphere today in the world, and maybe he's playing to this? I don't know.
I'm gonna say 2 things in response to that. Number 1, you're probably right. Number 2, it's sad that we still live in a world where someone who's not just a plain old white boy or girl wins something, and we have to question what the reason is behind it, because it can't just be that they're talented. And the thing is, like I said, you're probably right for that reason. There's a reason why even Ernest was like, oh, I wonder. And that's the thought that came to your mind, and I'm sure it's a thought that came to a lot of people's mind. It's probably the truth. It's just kind of sad that that's probably the truth.
Yeah. The thing
it's awful. It's awful. Sad, but
here's the thing, though. In saying that, this was never going to happen anyway. We were on the way. I'm just saying, was it too soon? Because he just got the North American Championship 2-3 months ago from Roderick Strong. When we were all saying this another build coming up, maybe another year, and then he'll probably get his moment maybe next year, Mania or something, what it may be.
Okay.
I wonder if the pandemic also had something to do with this also too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely should have at least been a takeover. I mean,
that's where I'm with Joe. He wasn't going to be able to build for a year to get the title.
Right.
No way. There is not another member of that roster right now that would make any sense, except for Karrion Kross. That could have beaten Adam Cole, because Kross is this big ass monster.
Mm-hmm.
Adam's beaten every other main event guy they have. It just wouldn't make sense at this point. But before we get to the Adam Cole and that part and all foreshadowing into him, let's look at what else happened on that entire event. You had the Dexter Lumis versus Roderick Strong strap match for the first time ever in NXT history. That match,
I enjoyed it.
The creepy Dexter Lumis character, it's like, is he my friend or is he a serial rapist? I can't tell yet.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I really don't find it entertaining.
Do you know what he reminds me of, actually? Do you know what he reminds me of, actually, by his facial expressions? Nails.
I mean, but that's not a good thing. You're saying
I know.
It's a good thing.
No, and I'm not smiling about it. I'm just saying nails. I see him thinking nails. Like, fuck.
Fuck nails.
I'm so over the Dexter Lumis gimmick. I mean, I low-key thought it was kind of interesting that they were trying to make him a good guy when he's clearly,
a heel.
Like normally you would take a character like that and it's an easy heel. And I sort of like that they were at least playing up the aspect of it where it was like, hey, don't worry, he's mostly doing this to just freak people out, but he's really not a bad guy.
How long has he been in NXT for? He's new, right? He's been there for a long time.
Well, he's been there for a minute, but he's fairly new to actually being used. And obviously he had a storyline that was like, in the realm of getting going with Velveteen Dream that, like, surprise, surprise, Velveteen Dream is suddenly missing from TV. I think we all know why. But, like, it's, I don't know. I'm over the Dexter Lumis character, and I really don't need to see him again.
He played this character similarly in Impact when he
and
was
I hated
Sam
it
Shaw.
then too.
And it wasn't good then. I mean, he's gotten better in ring since then.
Yes.
So, like, his in-ring work is extremely better, but that doesn't make the character, like, fucking desirable or tolerable or anything along those lines. So, other than that, Dexter Lumis may decide that he wants to kick rocks. That's cool. Also, last thing before I'm done with the NXT discussion, let's take the title belts off of Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne because, Pete can't get over into the country.
Right.
But let's put him on fucking Ring Camp who can't either.
Where are they gone now?
They didn't defend the titles at Great American Bash.
I mean, that doesn't mean they're not around. I don't know.
They haven't been seen on TV.
Who would they even defending them against? Like, really?
They haven't been seen on TV, I think, since they won the titles.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, they could have been in they could have faced Tyler Breeze and Fandango rather than putting them in that 6-man tag versus Santos Escobar Empire.
Yeah, for real. Or hell, put the tag belts on those two, the two that aren't Phantasmo.
I'm sorry, Legado del Fantasma is their faction name or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
What about the Gargano Swerve match? I mean, obviously, Gargano's going to win no matter what, but Swerve, yeah. I thought
Swerve. Sorry. His entrance song reminds me of Swole.
Yes.
Swerve, Swole. Same thing.
I thought he had a good performance though with Gargano though.
Yes. Also, Tim Thatcher looked really good in the submission match against Oney Lorcan. I hope they keep this like.
That was night one, I think. Right?
Thatcher. Yeah. Yes, it was. I hope they keep building this Thatcher thing up. But I will always say, Thatcher building up like this. He is the fourth member of Ring Camp. It should not be Alexander Wolf. It should be Tim Thatcher because in the United Kingdom it was Marcel Barthel who was Dieter Axel Jr. It was Timothy Thatcher and it was Walter, and that was Ring Camp. That's what Imperium should be. Is the three of them, and if you want to add Fabian Eichner, that's fine. But that faction should not have Alexander Wolf in it.
I agree.
Okay, that's our recap for takeaways from both Fyter Fest and GAB, as you call it, Great American Bash.
Great American Bash.
All right, Mike, bring a topic. I'm ready to get into this one because I'm really scared.
All right, so this one plays off of what happened on night 2 of the Great American Bash. It was the end of an undisputed era in NXT. 403 consecutive days since defeating Johnny Gargano at NXT TakeOver number 25 in, where was it, Connecticut, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
We got the birth of Adam Gold, baby, and he really put the rocket ship that was NXT on his back and got them to where they are now. So now my question to you both is, obviously, what's next in the cards for not only Adam Cole, but, a team that had all the title belts at one time. They were undisputedly gold. What's next for the Undisputed Era? What's next for Adam Cole? Are they going to stay in NXT? Or are they going somewhere else? And if they stay, what's the most, I guess, aggressive and obvious spots you can put them in?
Well, I'm scared because the whole reason I even really got into NXT was because of Adam Cole and the Era, the entire group. And I already heard rumors like weeks ago in some of the dirt she said that there's really talk about, they didn't say necessarily Adam Cole, they said like possibly 2 of the guys being called up to Raw SmackDown. And now with this thing with with Cole losing to Keith Lee, you already know that if you watch the end of the show on Wednesday, obviously his next opponent, Keith Lee's next opponent, will end up being probably Karrion Kross. At least that's the next direction to go in. So Adam Cole has gone from a champion now to possibly lost in the shuffle, I guess. You know, I don't know. I'm really worried that this could be the call up, which honestly I don't want to happen because I just because I like what they have here, but it almost seems inevitable that's the next direction to go in, right? They've done everything they could on that brand, you know.
Yeah.
I just don't know what do you do with Cole? What do you do with the other three guys? I just don't know.
So what me personally, here's what I tell you. I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen, and I'm gonna tell you what I would do. Okay. So what I think is going to happen is that Undisputed Era as a whole is just going to go ahead and move over to one of the other two brands. Probably Raw because they seem to be lacking a little bit more in talent at the moment. I'd rather see them on SmackDown because SmackDown, I mean, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but like there's some great wrestling going on SmackDown right now. I mean, Matt Riddle being involved in SmackDown has been an extreme blessing. And there's been a lot of other really good wrestling. You know, you got Daniel Bryan there, you got AJ Styles there, Cesaro and Nakamura are there. Like there's a lot of really good in-ring talent on SmackDown.
Braun Strowman. Joking.
Yeah. Well, but there's a lot of really good in-ring talent. There's a lot of really good talent there that I think Undisputed Era could only add to. I think that Undisputed Era is going to move as a whole because these days it seems like WWE doesn't like breaking up acts, especially if they're selling merchandise, especially if they're, and there's a reason why the New Day has been together as a stable for as long as they have. Because let's face it, in WWE 20 years ago, the New Day wouldn't have lasted more than a year. And I think at this point we're on like year, 8 with them or something like that? Maybe more like year 4 or 5. But like the New Day has been around for a hot minute. That's all I'm saying. And I think the Undisputed Era is going to end up going in that same direction. And I personally don't think it's the right idea. I think that at this point, the stable, and I love the stable, I love the music, I love the gimmick, I love the name.
Yeah.
But I also sort of feel like it's run its course. I feel like at this point, you're right. Like they were the main act in NXT for such a long time. And now it would be nice to see them do different things because, all 4 of them could be highly successful within WWE, be it on NXT or any other brand, if given the opportunity. I don't know exactly what you do with the other 3. If it was me, at the very least, I would have those 3 turn on Cole, and I would have them kick him out of the group. And even if that just leads to him showing up on SmackDown on his own or showing up, I think he'd have more luck on his own if he went to SmackDown versus Raw. But like, even if that's his way out the door, because like I'm liking it like this, and Mike probably understands where I'm coming from before I even say it. But like, for a very long time, whenever someone was leaving New Japan and happened to already be like the leader of Bullet Club turned on them. Happened to AJ Styles. Happened to Adam Cole. Happened to
Finn.
Yeah, happened to Finn. Right.
Finn was the first one they turned on.
Yeah, and then Styles, and then Cole.
And Kenny.
Yeah, and coronavirus turned on Jay White, and that's why he seems to be gone. But like, at the end of the day, like, it's already happened to Adam Cole, I know, but like, that's a way that makes sense, because it's a way where you're saying, okay, we're going to say goodbye to this guy, but we're also going to establish to you that the stable's not going anywhere and that we can still persevere. Because I'm going to tell you, as much as Undisputed Era has done everything in NXT, they've done it as a 4-man act with Adam Cole as the lead singer. If you kick Adam Cole out of there, that group all of a sudden has a lot more legs to it. All of a sudden, I don't even think you add anyone new. I think like you make Roderick Strong be the top guy in the group. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You've got someone who's never been a world title contender in NXT before. I think he fought for it once against Drew, and I think they had a really great match, actually. But other than that, like, he's never won the belt. He's never really come close to even winning the belt. So, I mean, like, right there, like, you almost can get a whole new run out of the Undisputed Era with the 3 guys if you just remove Adam Cole, who, quite frankly, in my opinion, was never exactly the strongest member of the group anyway. So that's what I would do personally.
Why don't you have him as the strongest member of the group? Let me ask. I'm not disagreeing. I just want to hear your.
Adam Cole is just one of those guys that like has never clicked with me the way he clicks with a lot of people. I think he's great. I think he's really great. I think he's still having the same matches he was having back in 2012 when I first was like, oh man, this dude is great. Like, he hasn't evolved the way a lot of other guys have. And like, yeah, he can put out a 5-star match like nobody's business, and he's proven it at countless takeovers. But he also basically has the same 5-star match every single time he wants to have a 5-star match. There's not a ton of variety there. Like sometimes people compare him to like Shawn Michaels, and I'm just like, Daniel Bryan is the guy you compare to Shawn Michaels. Adam Cole is the guy that I don't know who you compare him to. You know, he's not Savio Vega, but he's not Shawn Michaels.
Is he like the store brand Bret Hart?
Maybe Bret Hart might be a good comparison for him, actually. I mean, he's not as good as Bret Hart, but like
no, that's why I said store brand, because you know that like when Bret had a 5-star match, it was the same philosophy every time. So that's why I'm saying it's like he's like the Walmart version of Bret Hart.
Yes, I'll give you that. I can buy that.
I'm not saying he's as great as Bret was in ring or anything along those lines, but like store brand Bret Hart.
Yeah, no, same idea. Like, yeah, I feel that.
Great value, Bret Hart. All right, so my thought process for what I would do with the Undisputed Era. Obviously, what makes sense if you want to keep them together, they have to be out of NXT. And I say that simply from the standpoint of there's not a lot for them left to do. They've held every title. They've done everything that they've wanted. So I would say if they're going to stay there, it's time for them to kick rocks. If they're staying as a unit. And here's the thing. If they decide to stay as a unit, I would put them on Monday Night Raw. They started as a unit, and what did they do? They went after Drew Gulak. Drew McIntyre. And hey, guess who's the world champion on Monday Night Raw? The guy that they went after whenever the group started. So I would say that makes sense. From an in-ring perspective, yes, SmackDown would make more sense. But the problem is SmackDown is fucking loaded right now.
They are.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to really put them there. If they stay in NXT, it's obvious. I'm with Joe. They have to turn. Someone's got to turn on somebody. I don't know if it's all of them turning on Adam or Adam turning on Roderick or something along those lines. But somebody's got to turn on someone.
Has Adam ever been a babyface before?
Not on the NXT roster.
Okay.
I would say that I'm with Joe. Turn them on Adam. Have them turn on Adam, and it gives him now 3 matches. To get him through the end of 2020 to maybe make a main roster debut by himself on like Rumble 2021.
I can see that.
Because
I can see that. So yeah.
I would love for them if they decide to keep the Undisputed Era together with the 3 of them. I want more fucking Kyle O'Reilly. I want single sleazy Kyle.
Because that's the thing, like, not for nothing, and this is what I was trying to say before too, like, you know, we've gotten like there is actually a lot of room for stuff for them to do in NXT, but you just have to change it up. Like, Roddy's already done the North American title thing, so it's time for him to be a world title contender. And to me, you make that easy if you just make him the lead guy in Undisputed Era. But also too, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly have done the tag division thing for so long and been the champions multiple times, and it sucks because there's not really a really good tag division in NXT right now. So you low key could use them like that, but also Bobby Fish isn't really around right now anyway. It's really just Kyle, and frankly, Kyle should be fighting for the North American title at the very least. I mean, look, he's a former ROH World Champion as much as Adam Cole was.
Right.
But he's nowhere near being in NXT title contention. Maybe it's time to start down that road.
Now, real quick.
I don't think he's the guy that you can make the leader of Undisputed Era. I do think that's still Roddy, but I think that Kyle O'Reilly is at least a North American title contender.
Now, NXT's obviously survived. I mean, obviously 10 years of development and whatever. They've obviously survived people getting called up. But I feel like this group here may actually, I don't know, maybe hurt them a little bit for the short term. Because it's so popular.
Everything's going to hurt them in the short term. Let's look at this.
But remember, now they're on TV now. Now they're competing every Wednesday with AEW. Now they're on television. Now we look at them now, if not an equal Raw and SmackDown, at least almost right there.
Well, and that's why I think instead of using the term call up, I think you need to look at it more it's a shift. Exactly. It's more nowadays. I think it's easier to think of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT as three different territories, all within WWE, obviously, but it works the same way the territory system worked back in the day, which is if an act or a guy is on the same roster for too long, it gets old and it gets stale. So I think, yes, you're right. If they lost these stars and gained nothing back, then yes, that hurts NXT. If these guys go to Raw or SmackDown and in trade, Raw and SmackDown have to send people over, and I'm not saying they need to send 4 for 4, maybe it's 4 for 2 or something like that, but look, you gave new life to NXT and you gave new life to Finn Balor by putting him on the brand. Mm-hmm. There's got to be other talents there. Put Nakamura back on there. Put Cesaro on there. There's plenty of guys that you could move over to NXT and give us some fresh stuff for NXT, while also getting something fresh for the Undisputed Era and all those guys. If you don't go the route of giving them something fresh to do, because like I said, within NXT, they do have fresh things to do. It's just that WWE would actually have to pull the trigger on that. And to me, that definitely starts.
And it's actually easier now to do it since they're all sharing the same building right now. So,
right.
Right. Not hard to do now.
No, not at all.
I would say this. When you look at the rosters right now for WWE, if you were going to move people around, obviously there's a lot more of, talent on the SmackDown roster that's not being used. If I look at the Raw roster right now, their total male roster, I'm just going to list it off real quick, is Akam, who's out because his partner's hurt, Tozawa, who is chasing after 24/7 title, Aleister Black, Andrade, Angel Garza, Angelo Dawkins, half of the Raw Tag Champs, just had a child. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo Crews, the U.S. Champion. Austin Theory, who has not been seen since the one time that he was with Seth Rollins as a disciple.
Well, that's joking, nothing. I don't know.
The Big Show, who I don't even know why he's on a roster. Bobby Lashley. Brendan Vink from NXT. I don't know why he's on this roster. Brock Lesnar, who's not there. Cedric Alexander. Dolph Ziggler, who just got moved there. Drew, Eric, Humberto Carrillo, Ivar, Jinder Mahal's hurt. Kevin Owens, Montez Ford, the other half of the tag team champions. Murphy. MVP, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, who's not on contract anymore. Ricochet, Riddick Moss, who's AWOL. Robert Roode, who can't get into the country because he's in Canada. R-Truth, Seth Rollins, Shane Thorne, Shelton Benjamin, and Titus O'Neil. That Raw roster is trash.
In comparison to SmackDown, I agree.
Is that our time?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm just worried, man. I love it. I love it. Undisputed Era. I love them. But
here's the thing. What are you worried about?
I'm worried about them being misused when they get quote unquote called up. That's all. They're the most overact in the fucking world. I will say this much though, because of the circumstances right now around the world, they may, if they were to go to SmackDown or Raw, they actually may make a splash a lot heavier than had they would have done if it was like a regular, crowd and all that shit.
I actually disagree. I think the opposite way around.
This one could get lost. Yeah. This one could get lost because could you imagine that fan reaction?
Yep, exactly.
True. Good point. All right, Joe, bring it home.
All right, well, hold on a second. I'm chewing a Hot Pocket.
Wow.
Death Pocket.
That's not even gay slang. It's an actual Hot Pocket. It's pepperoni. That's not even gay slang either. Anyway.
That's one.
Wow.
Pepperoni, that's one.
So anyway, okay, so my topic for tonight, and we talked about it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the how all of the NXT female matches were a lot better than any of the ones on AEW. And here's the thing, right? We live in a world where WWE has taken very seriously the whole women's revolution, getting the women wrestlers into, being considered as very serious competitors, and, they really changed like the game a lot. And we've even had a main event match at WrestleMania, the biggest show in pro wrestling every year, is featuring nothing but women. It's been that big a deal. So my question is, AEW obviously is not there. Like AEW, I'm not even gonna go as far as to say, like, oh, how would we get AEW to have a main event on pay-per-view involving 2 women or more women? However, I don't even think that at this moment they could have an episode of Dynamite that ends with a main event involving their women's division. That's how weak it is. So my question to you guys is, how would you go about actually booking or getting to a point where AEW is able to have a main event feud or match on at least the Dynamite? If you want to go for a pay-per-view, if you want to build it that much, go for it. But how could AEW get to that point where they have a women's main event feud or storyline or something like that? And it can involve, I'm going to give you a couple parameters. It can involve any woman that is already in AEW. It can involve any woman that is not under contract anywhere. And I'm going to even say this. If for some reason, if your argument is that they would need somebody from WWE, and it's just a matter of waiting for a contract to expire and then trying to swipe in and get a big deal, you can use that, and you can name that person and say who it is. This doesn't have to be something where we're trying to get a main event on Dynamite in 2 weeks. This could be a long thought out thing, because let's face it, at this point, they couldn't get a main event in 2 weeks on Dynamite with the women. But could they in 6 months? That's the question to you guys.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they'll ever get there at all.
Well, okay, if they
could,
were going to, what would they have to do?
Their problem is, their main problem is talent. Period.
Yes.
That's the main problem. It has nothing to do with booking and all that. The problem is talent. Now, I will say this, much. They are better now than they were 6 months ago. Penelope Ford, Sheeta's a champion. She's really good. Chris Statlander, obviously she's hurt right now. They're better right now than they were back in January. Let's be clear about that. But
hard pass.
Okay. Well, you get a second. My thing is, though, is that they have a talent issue. They need a defection badly. That's why when the whole Sasha Banks thing was going on last year, I was hoping that she would have left and probably gone to AEW. She would have helped. Somebody like that would have helped.
So wait, if you had to take someone from WWE, if you have Carte Blanche, I think I'm using that correctly. You can take any woman from WWE whose contract might come up. So be realistic. Like the women who clearly are happy in WWE and aren't going anywhere.
Here's the thing. Even their mid-roster women is better than their top girls. NXT's mid-roster girls are better than the top girls at AEW. To me, it comes down to this, that in the ring, maybe it's WWE's development program, whatever it is, they're a lot sharper. They're just better in the ring. They're just better. They're just better to look at in the ring in terms not just of looks, but in terms of just in terms of athletes.
Right. Okay. But okay. And I agree with you. But Mia Yim showing up on AEW is not going to spark a women's revolution.
It won't spark it. But Mia Yim showing up to AEW, she's number one girl there immediately.
Yeah, I'll give you that. That's
absolutely
fair. I will give you that.
Sarah Logan going there, number one girl there in the company.
I will not give you that. Sarah Logan's hot duty.
But that goes to show you how bad the AEW. Okay, she's definitely top 3 in my opinion. I'll give you Penelope, Sheeta, and Sarah Logan.
Britt Baker, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Britt Baker to me not impressive in the ring. I'm sorry. Her gimmick is awesome. No, her gimmick is great. Her gimmick is amazing. Her turning her heel was a great, probably saved her career.
Oh yeah, no. Mike and I were talking about that the other day. Actually, we were I was losing very badly at NBA 2K20 to him, and we were talking about this, and that's how it became a topic on the show actually. But
oh really?
Yes. And we were saying, though, that the thing with Britt Baker is they should have had her in this sort of role since day one.
Agreed.
And instead, they tried to make her the face of the women's division.
And that was a problem.
It failed. It failed miserably. It took away like a good 6 or 8 months of potential that she had that they're now rebuilding with her.
This heel turn has saved her career, to be honest with you, because
I agree.
That's the only thing interesting about her right now. Like she's not even a top 3 or 4 women right now in the company. Like I'll take Shida.
You're so wrong.
I'll take
Listen. Her boyfriend isn't even the NXT champion anymore. She's got nothing.
Oh God.
You're living under a rock.
Okay, I'll take Shida over her. I would take Penalty 4 over her, and I would take Chris Allen over her right now.
Okay, wait.
That's 3. And one of them's got a blown ACL.
I got to ask a question, though. When it comes to Shida, and I agree, Shida's really good in the ring. Do you actually get excited for hearing that Shida's about to be in a match?
Not really, no. The gimmick is kind of bland.
No, she has no gimmick.
She's cute. So here's the thing, though. Honestly, the most talented female right now in the company is Riho. She's not even there.
No, the most talented female in the company is Britt Baker, but she's not even wrestling.
Thank you.
I'm talking about in the ring. I'm talking about gimmick.
She's not. They don't have any gimmicks. The women's division has no fucking gimmicks.
Well, they tried to have a gimmick, and it was that stupid. What was it? The Nightmare Collective, or
their fucking division. Their women's division has one gimmick. It is Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. She's the only gimmick in the fucking building. Everybody else comes out there and
seems to be an alien.
The bottom line is
she has a torn ACL. She's gone.
Off
the list.
Right. The bottom line is they'll never main event ever because they're not good enough, in my opinion.
So
they need defections badly. Badly.
He just gave you the option to take someone. Who are you taking?
You take anybody. It's better.
No, but okay. Wait, if you could take only one person.
That's a really great answer.
I'll take Candice LeRae. I'll take anybody. Mid-card NXT or mid-card Raw, SmackDown, and it's better than anybody at AEW.
The topic
wait.
The topic isn't would they go in and be better than anybody there. The topic was
you want names? You want actual names?
Get
actual names.
A main event.
Actual names you want?
Yeah, again, give me the feud. Give me the main event feud with the women that you can get as an AEW main event feud. But you can use any 2 women. Take them from WWE if you want to, but you can do that.
Damn. I want Sasha Banks, obviously.
Okay. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a great pick, honestly.
Yeah. I think she's disgruntled to some degree.
That's the rumor.
Although I gotta be honest with you, the way this latest run right now with her and Bayley right now is I love it right now. I love it right now.
No, I agree with you.
Here. Little mini DX. So reminds me of DX a little bit. Original DX with Triple H and Shawn a little bit.
So at the very least, you'd bring Sasha Banks over.
Absolutely.
Okay. Mike, how about you?
All right. So I told this to Joe. This is the feud that inevitably could get them with the talent they have. The talent they have right now, the only way they get to a main event, it's Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. They're the only 2 that can go in the ring. They're the only ones that Britt can fucking cut a promo. Nobody else on that fucking roster can cut a promo. It's hot trash. It's garbage. They need to fucking nuke the whole fucking thing. But here's the thing. Fixing the way you fix it is you go out and you fucking go scout people. You go get people. Honestly, right now, and I talked to Joe about this, the best women's division in professional wrestling right now, it is not AEW. It is not even WWE. It is the Impact Wrestling women's division.
And this shocked me. Mike pointed this out to me when we were having this conversation the other day, and I was like, no, that can't be right. And then he went down the list of, women in this division, and it was, it's hard to argue against, honestly.
Well, you guys are more familiar with the roster than I am, so I can't really speak on that, but,
All right, well, for the wrestling fans that know this, Jessica Havoc is there, big on the indie scene. Current knockout champion, Jordan Grace. who is the girlfriend to Jonathan Gresham. Really fucking great in ring. Kiera Hogan's pretty good in ring. Let's look at else. Rosemary, she's pretty damn good. Su Young, really good. Taya Valkyrie, Mrs. Johnny Impact. She could be a great fucking addition to there. The former artist formerly known as Emma.
Is she there?
Tennille Dashwood is there, but she hasn't been on the show for the last. Well, I mean, with the pandemic, she hasn't been wrestling as much.
Okay.
And then let's look at this one. Let's address the elephant in the room. She's on the Impact roster right now. She should be the number one act in AEW right now, but they found a way to fuck it up, and now it's Kylie Ray.
Yeah.
They tried to make Kylie the face of the fucking thing. Then shit hit the fan. She kicked rocks and left, and then they tried to make Britt Baker a face.
Any chance Big Swole can make a splash? She's not bad in the ring.
So here's the thing. I enjoy the storyline that they're building right now with Big Swole and Britt Baker. I don't know where it's going to go because Britt Baker's hurt, but I do enjoy the storyline. It's going to go to Britt Baker
beating her in October?
Yeah, right. I enjoy the storyline, but I don't know. I don't think that Big Swole is over enough with the audience where that could actually be turned into a main event.
This storyline, though, main event, definitely. Again, the main event is not even something. I mean, that is, you're talking years on the road for that. You need defections for that to happen. I'm sorry. They're not getting main event with anybody in this roster currently in this pool at all.
I feel you.
And I love AEW. You know I'm an AEW mark, but God, that's the.
I know you are because you're trying to sell me on the fact that you wouldn't put Britt Baker in your top fucking 4.
She's not top 4.
Dude, they have 6 women on the roster.
That's bad then, right?
What do you mean? No, that means you're fucking wrong.
They seriously have about like 5 women that are active on their roster.
I would take Big Swole in the ring.
Stop.
Baby.
Stop. You're fucking living under a rock, dude.
Hey, Joe, he's awake.
No. Okay, hold on. There's a difference about being awake and then someone just making an asinine statement, and that's completely fucking asinine.
It's an opinion. You know what?
Your opinion sucks.
No, Mike, no, real talk though.
Your opinion is trash.
And Joe alluded to it a little while ago. I think a lot of the reasons why I'm so low on Baker in the ring is because the way she was touted to us last year.
Yeah,
and I see it like, this is the number one. Really?
Yeah, I'm with you on that, to be honest.
You can be mad about how she was touted.
No, they're rebuilding her right now, and it's working. But they set themselves behind. It's the same argument that I make about Brody Lee. I think that Brody Lee is going to be a huge star in AEW. I think that putting him with the Dark Order is going to set him behind at least 6 or 8 months. I think they did the same thing to Britt Baker, and we're watching her be regrown, and it's working. But she could have already been here if they didn't, muck the whole thing up for 6 months.
The face of the women's division, and Rio was one that stood out more. I was like,
so,
really,
Mike,
really, with the Rio fucking shit. Okay. Here's the problem. I fixed the AEW women's roster on NBA 2K20. Stop booking fucking Japanese talent. Nobody gives a shit.
Well,
no one cares about Rio.
Wait, Mike. What's your beef with Japanese talent? What's your beef?
They can't fucking get here.
Well, okay, wait.
Well, not now.
Wait. Let me take this argument because I agree with you for different reasons. I don't have a problem with them booking talent from Japan. Obviously, there's some fantastic and really undiscovered female talent in Japan. And even WWE has learned this. And look, Io Shirai, as far as I'm concerned, is the best female wrestler in the world right now. She's their NXT Women's Champion. Asuka's obviously killing it on Raw. There's plenty of talent out there. And I do think Sheeta's decent. I think the problem that AEW has is they bring in these women from Japan with no background and no gimmicks. And we're only supposed to be impressed by them because they're female wrestlers from Japan and they can wrestle really well, which is awesome. But it doesn't, at the end of the day, get you that far. WCW used to do the same thing, and they never had anything short of a hot trash women's division. So, I mean, they're not the example to follow, which is what AEW seems to be doing.
Is that Kenny Omega's fault?
Work.
Is that Kenny Omega's fault? Is that his job?
No, it's everybody's fault because they're fucking hiring people that aren't relocating to the United States. They put together a piss-poor women's division.
But look, even if they had those women relocate to the U.S., if you don't then do something with them, if you don't give them gimmicks, if you don't have them have characters, then it's pointless anyway. Because look, Io Shirai is only where she's at. She's where she's at because she's talented in the ring.
She's amazing in the ring, though.
But she has an amazing character. She has an amazing character in NXT. And same thing.
Where she went from being a face to being the psychopath heel.
Exactly.
That got her completely over. Exactly.
My
whole point.
That's what I'm saying.
My whole point of my entire argument. At the end of the day, fucking Ernest will not put fucking the only person that actually has a fucking act in his top 4 for some reason. She's the only one that makes fucking
Let me
sense.
preface so quick. Okay, my problem with Baker isn't necessarily her act. Her act actually right now is amazing. Like what they done, the 180 done with her is amazing. I'm talking about in the ring. In the ring. Solely in the ring.
Penelope Ford has had like 4 fucking matches, and you're willing to put her at number 2 overall.
It's not saying much though, but it's not saying much. I mean, it's Sheeta, her, and one other person. That's it.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, I'm willing to accept that from Ernest.
That's not a compliment though.
With the caveat that we all agree, including Ernest, that's piss poor. Like that's a sad state of affairs. That's the truth.
It may have something to do with the development. I don't know. The WWE has a great.
There is no development in AEW.
There you go.
But no,
okay, so I'm gonna answer my own question.
Though.
Go, Mike. Go. What? Mike. Go. What?
It's not about development. It's about fucking talent. They're not fucking going and getting anyone. They don't give a fuck about fixing the women's division.
No, they don't.
Well, this also
at the end of the day, wait.
Rio should not have been the first fucking champion.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Well, wait. Okay, I'm gonna tell you. If they wanted to fix the women's division, if they wanted to get to the point where you can have a main event women's division match, there's at least one person that they need to hire, and I'm going to tell you, and it might be a little controversial.
I know exactly where you're going.
You do. You might even be able to figure it out, Ernest. It's not even someone that works for WWE. You don't have to wait for them to be an independent, because they are.
Daughter?
Huh?
Is someone's daughter?
It is, and he works for AEW already. Tessa Blanchard.
Did you just say 2 weeks ago that's a no? That's a no from you? Both of you guys said no?
I said that I wouldn't.
You didn't say yeah. You say she's worth the risk.
I don't remember if I said no to her. I honestly don't remember or not. And here's the thing. I'm sure that the reason why she's not already signed at AEW is because she probably has a lot of history with a lot of people in the locker room that don't take kindly to her. But I'm telling you, in name value, in in-ring talent, and in character, she is the hottest, the number one, like, and I don't mean attractive hottest, I'm gay, but like the number one, like, biggest female act that is not signed to WWE right now, or Impact or anywhere else, that AEW could literally have show up on TV this Wednesday night and start a whole new spark to the women's division. And it sucks that she supposedly is, kind of a piece of shit backstage. It sucks that those stories are out there. There's not been anything criminal, like some of the, there's not been any of the stuff that's come out about, like, people like Joey Ryan and stuff like that. But there's been enough really bad stories where you're kind of like, oh, wow, I don't want to see her succeed. But the truth is, at the end of the day, she is that person. She is 100%.
AEW right now is not in a position right now to say no to anybody.
Exactly.
Especially that with the women's division. Period.
And that's the unfortunate. And look, and the truth is, I said this to Mike. I was like, look, I think, ironically, of all the places where she might, like, actually soar would be AEW, because her dad's there. How much trouble are you actually going to get in when your dad's watching? Right? Like,
if your dad would say, hey, listen, Tessa, listen, don't be a bitch. Just stop.
Exactly. Right. Like, they can literally just be like, look, Tully, your job is to, like, occasionally be on TV with Sean Spears and make sure your daughter doesn't act the fuck up. like that's a good enough thing for him to get paid
I
for.
agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And like the thing is, like, I don't know who you feud her against when you bring her in. I don't know who you build her against. It might still require another jump from WWE or something like that to get to that main event level. But I think she's at least a starting out point.
Absolutely, I agree. Is it possible that what Vince did by securing contracts and paying people to keep them away from free agency, if you will, this is where he did well? I'm assuming he did the same thing with the women also too.
I mean,
I don't know. Their women's division really isn't all that loaded. Like,
no, it's not.
The NXT women's division, like, when you look at it, yes, you have Mia. Obviously, she's not going anywhere, being romantically inclined with the NXT champion.
Candice,
obviously, she ain't going anywhere because of Johnny. So that's 2 off the list. Honestly, who have they signed since AEW's become a thing? Mercedes Martinez, who was part of an AEW Battle Royal that they didn't sign her afterwards. Stupid.
Yep.
Tenille
Dashwood. She's great.
Yeah.
Mercedes is OG. I mean, she's been around on the indie scene forever, and she's fantastic.
I was curious, who's in charge of booking? I mean, obviously the Bucks and Mega obviously have a lot of influence or whatever, but like, who's in charge of booking?
Well, at the end of the day, Tony Khan gets the last call, so.
This is where the WWE models is. This is why WWE will never fail, because they have the model in place, the structure in place.
But AEW has that with Tony Khan. It's just that, like I said, to me at the end of the day, it's just that they're not, like, even the women that they do have, and they don't have enough, and the ones that they have are still pretty, you can tell some of them are still pretty learning and, still pretty, I don't want to use the term green, but, definitely green. In the process.
They're green. Mike has said it. Mike is correct. They're really, aside from maybe 2 or 3 of them, Mike, sorry.
Right, but look what they've done with Britt Baker. Look at how much they've revived her just by giving her a character. They could do that with at least a couple of those women in that division, and at least it's a start. But they would need to, and obviously if they wanted to, they already would be. So I think the argument is, I think there's a fair argument for that they don't actually care that much. And then I guess maybe part of the question is, should they even bother having a women's division instead of half-assing it?
Okay.
You gotta try.
Okay. Here's the way that you level up. Here's the way you level up this women's division. You fucking take Leva Bates, you take her out of the librarian position, you put her in the ring.
Okay.
You fucking bring in Priscilla Kelly to the roster full time.
All hands in. I like it.
You had Shazza McKinney for the Double or Nothing Battle Royal. You could use her in a spot. You find a way to get Eva Lise, who got released from her
Evolve contract.
Right.
Not Evolve. Lucha Underground.
Oh, sure.
Bea Priestley, when she can get here from the United Kingdom, she's someone who I would strap the fucking rocket ship to. She's great fucking in ring. Look at her shit over in Japan. She was really good. Honestly, I would bring fucking Jazz in. Jazz was fucking probably going to have a couple good matches as an older talent to get some people over. And the biggest mistake that they made was fucking straight up not signing Mercedes Martinez. Looking at this Casino Battle Royale from All Out, literally, there's 6 people that you could add to this roster right now, and it'd be so much better. But no, we're stuck living with this. Let's have 3 matches from this person, 1 match from this person, and hot trash the rest of the way.
And you think also too, with Statlander being out for a while, Britt Baker out for a while, that they would probably go out and find more talent. I guess I don't know, but I don't know. It's trash, dude. But anyway, MVPs, let's go.
I'll go first. I have one this week.
You do have one this week.
I do have one this
Bianca
week.
Belair? Bianca Belair?
No, she hasn't even been on TV in a minute. She should be in AEW. No. My person this week, I'm going to tell you, Mike's going to obviously guess this. Mike?
Is it evil?
You know something? Everything is evil.
Everything is evil.
That is my MVP. Because look, and I'm not going to go on too long of a rant here. I'm going to just say this really fast. For my New Japan fans that are out there listening, I know, Ernest, this means nothing to you. It should. Go watch New Japan. But anyway.
I'm I index it. Everything you say, I index.
Okay. So I have been saying for, I feel like at least a year, that the best, like the guys who should be the top guys in New Japan have all been in one stable. They've all been part of Los Ingobernables de Japón, which is a fantastic stable.
Los Increíbles de Japón.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. They are a fantastic stable, but it's very clear for a long time, at least in my opinion, that at least 3 of the guys in the stable should all be main event level guys, and they weren't getting their opportunity because they were all just in one stable. Well, this morning at like, 4 o'clock in the morning our time.
Monday night, buddy. Thank you.
Monday. So yesterday, so Sunday, New Japan finally pulled the trigger and had one of those guys turn on the group and then go ahead and win the world title and the Intercontinental title, because the same guy was holding both. And it's so long overdue. I'm honestly really excited. It's got me really jazzed for New Japan again. So, Evil, you are my MVP, you sexy, sexy thing.
Well, I got 2 this week. My MVP this week, of course, Keith Lee, the NXT champion. Yep, that's right. And
Baskin Robbins in his glory.
Baskin Robbins. yeah, I like that one. And Orange Cassidy, again, that match against Jericho, unbelievable performance. So, Keith Lee and Orange Cassidy. Fresh and sweet.
I have 2 of them as well. My first one, I'm going to give it to the New Japan booking committee for Joe's thought process of finally pulling the trigger on Evil. But if you look at it, and I texted this to Joe earlier, and I don't think I worded it properly because I was really tired. If you look at New Japan, 2020 started with a bunch of like, oh my God, this is going to be a great year. Tetsuya Naito just won both titles. He had his big moment at the Tokyo Dome, and then the pandemic hit, and then everything changed, and Evil took over. So it's like New Japan is like playing to the role of like the pandemic being evil, and now their champion is evil. I like the way they did it there. And my other MVP, and it's one that I just wanted to bring up because I just saw it on Twitter. And as we were recording, I was scrolling. I'm going to give a special shout out to the American Nightmare, Cody.
Okay, why?
There's some people on Twitter right now that are saying that Sonny Kiss should not have a match against Cody on Wednesday because he's gay. And
fuck that.
Are you serious?
Cody basically said, if you don't think that he's good enough in the ring because he's gay, you can go fuck yourself.
Nice.
So
Cody.
I give major fucking shout out to Cody for that. Because there's a lot of people that would have just turned a blind eye to that. But for him to like respond to the Twitter fucking warriors and be like, y'all can go fuck yourselves, kudos to that guy.
I love Cody.
And not for nothing, Sonny Kiss is really good in the ring too. Not for nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
what
the fuck they're talking about, dude? Seriously.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest fan of Sonny Kiss in the ring. However, fuck anyone who's ever gonna be like, oh, he's gay, he doesn't deserve something.
Exactly.
Like, honestly.
That fucking shit. Fuck that.
Least valuable player player of the week. I'm going to give it to Dana Brooke for her terrible karaoke of the Honky Tonk Man song on Friday Night SmackDown.
Are you serious?
I mean, you could actually give it to that entire segment if you wanted to, but I'm just going to very specifize it on her.
I have to watch SmackDown now. I got to watch it now. Damn it.
No, you don't. Do yourself a favor. Don't do it.
Well,
Watch New Japan instead.
Correct.
Sure.
Watch the finals of the New Japan Cup. Watch Dominion. And Zack Sabre Jr. We love Zack Sabre Jr.
All right, fellas. I guess next week we'll do it again.
I mean, I guess.
Even you guess. We'd be awake?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. We'll figure it out then.
All right, buddy. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good week.
Bye.
Nachos.
Later.